What's up everyone? AJ on AJ's Heli Journey here. I promised to do a video of me setting up my new Goblin 380. So this may be done in one video, but most likely it'll be done in several videos because I don't want it to be too long. So if you are watching this and you want to see everything, just bear in mind that there may be a part 1, part 2, and so on and so forth. I gotta apologize for a couple of things. One, this video may not be as smooth or as organized as maybe some other setup or tutorial videos out there, and that's because I honestly I thought about it, but I couldn't carve out the time to try and set this up perfectly, because if I did that, I really feel that I probably would never get this set up. So just bear that in mind if you're watching. Really, my goal isn't to make this the the best of video qualities. It's more the actual documenting of my of the process I go through, and while doing that, share as much of the information as possible that I feel might be helpful for somebody else. So that brings me to the other thing that I apologize for, is that this isn't a formal, I guess, tutorial, step-by-step tutorial. It's more of, again, like I said, me documenting my setup of this heli, but in doing that, I really think that I can provide a bit of a step-by-step to help people, if not get through a similar process from beginning to end, maybe fill in some gaps that they might have missed or not been able to find information for elsewhere. So bear that in mind. And I'll also I should mention that I'm not going to go through I'm not going to show on camera me doing actual setup on the heli, but I'm going to walk you through what I did. I'm just not going to bore you with that, but I'm going to walk you through what I did and maybe how I did it if necessary, and definitely the settings that I go through in the transmitter and when I do some programming through the computer. So anyways, let's get to it. I think it's important to note that we're not, obviously this isn't a build. I'm assuming that you've built your heli, and the main things I'm doing with regards to setup here is I'm going to be showing you setup of the ESC. This is a Scorpion 80 amp, a Tribunus 2 ESC. Actually, I don't know if it's Tribunus 2, but it's a Tribunus 80 amp ESC. We're going to go through the setup and the software for the Ikon2, and also go through the programming or the setup of the heli in the Futaba 16IZ. So, I know there's a lot of other videos out there that I'm sure are that I know are great, and I encourage you to watch those too. But this is, my process, and like I said, hopefully it maybe might fill some gaps that you might have from watching other videos. At least that's my hope. So, even though this has to do with these specific brands, and for the the Futaba, the Ikon2, and the Scorpion, I really think that overall setup of a fiberless is relatively similar. All that changes might be some of the programming, and the steps, small changes in steps. So even if you're not setting up something exactly using these electronics and this setup, maybe the video might still be useful to you, and at the very least maybe it's entertaining to you, because we're going to go through some stuff. I've gone through some issues setting this up, but overall not too bad. Anyways, so let's get into the first step, which is setting up. The first step for me is setting up a new heli in the Futaba. All right, so here we have the transmitter. I'm going to note a couple of things. I am not actually, I've already set up the heli here, but I'm going to talk about, what I did to set up the new heli. And I also want to make sure that, I'm not going to go through this isn't a tutorial to go through and explain every single potential programming or menu item. But what I will say is that if it is, that I'm going to do my best to talk about every single menu item that I adjust when setting up a new heli. If I don't bring up the menu item, then I believe, and definitely for me, it's not a menu item I really ever adjust or go into. So I hope that makes sense. So when, first thing you need to do, like I said, is set up a new heli. On this menu here, you would go to Model Select, and in there you would select New. You can see I already have the Goblin 380 here, and I have it selected. But after doing New, you would go in. So if I click that, what happens when you press New? It just says New. Another line will come up and it just says New. And then when you click it, you'll have these options, which is to either copy it or to rename it. And in this case, I renamed it, and I renamed. So when you click that, you can see. So this will say New if it's new, and then you will type in your model name, and then you'll go back. So that is how you set up a brand new model. Then after that, sorry, that's just a call that might be coming in. Anyways, now what at this point, the only other thing that you may want to do is you can do this after you get into the fiberless, or you can do this now, and that is go to, I'm all over the place. Like I said, not entirely prepared. Model type, you just want to make sure, this is default for this radio because this is a heli specific, or at least the programming, I think the defaults were already defaulted for a heli. So make sure it selects heli though, and make sure that your swash type is H1, okay? Again, in my radio, when I set up a new model, this is pretty automatic. But if you're, if you also use your 16IZ or whatever radio you're using for, planes or different things, you may have to go in here and select something different. Then outside of that, at least for initial setup, you need to go to system type, and what you're going to do here is this is going to be determined by what type of receiver you're using. In this case, I am using this Futaba R7108 SB because I'm also going to be using telemetry, which this receiver is capable of. So to be able to use this, I have to use, and I'm sorry it's not zoomed in, I just don't want to move the heli closer to the camera, but this is fastest. So in the radio, you're going to select fastest 18 channel. And what you would do, you can see I'm already linked, but you won't see this information if it's a brand new setup. What you would do is you would power up your receiver either by plugging in a power source to the receiver, or it getting powered through the fiberless, which is why you can do this after you begin the fiberless setup, in this case the Ikon2, because then you can give power to the Ikon2 and it'll power the receiver. So however it is that you choose to power the receiver, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to press link on the radio first, and then power the receiver, and it should it will literally just pair by itself. There's literally nothing else that you should have to do. At least I haven't, and I've done 3 of these already. So and that is if you are using the fastest 18. I think there might be some differences in using a bit of a different protocol, but anyways, that's how you would link this receiver. Once you've done that, honestly, for initial setup, that's all you need to do. Now, we're far from, obviously, there's much more to set up on this, but we will do that as we get into the fiberless setup. So the next thing that I did was to start programming the fiberless, the Ikon2. So to do that, what you're going to want to do is you want to connect your computer to the Ikon2 first. And the reason I say that is here on the computer, if you try and open the Ikon2 software without connecting the Ikon2 unit, this it'll say port scanning, and then it'll just it'll open up the option to go, I think, demo, to kind of do a demo because it can't find the software. That's it. So there it is, and it'll go into demo mode, in which case you can check out what are the parameters you can set, but it won't connect to anything. So anyways, we obviously don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and connect this to the Ikon2, and you'll see, sorry, trying to do this while holding the camera. Apologize for the shaky video there. You'll see the flashing lights there, and then we will open the Ikon2 software and it'll open up. So that is how you connect it to the computer. Really simple. And then we'll get into what the programming of the Ikon2 is. Okay, so the first screen of the wizard, and so actually let's back up. You can see here at the top there's these options: wizard menu, advanced menu, counters, diagnostic, and manuals. You're going to want to do all your initial setup in the wizard menu, and this is the easiest way to do it. It's high level, and as you gain more experience, or if you want to do some fine tuning, then you can go into advanced menu, but that's out of the scope of this particular video or videos. So first thing on the wizard menu is this is page 1. They call it page 1 in the manual if you actually go through the manual. And this is pretty intuitive because it actually, on each of the pages, and there's 13 pages here, I think. 3, 6, 9, 12, hold on a second. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, but I don't think maybe they don't, anyways, whatever. Sorry, I'm going off on tangent. Anyways, first page, and on each of these pages in this window over here, there is a description, pretty detailed description. So, if you ever get lost, always refer to this area here. But on this area, what you want to do here, the reason why this might be beneficial to fill out is because this will act, by filling in each of these drop-down menus, it will actually, I guess, kind of do some preemptive setup on the other pages. So you want to select your model through this drop-down. These are all drop-down menus, so you just pick. I haven't found the model that's in there. Mind you, I haven't done this that many times, and currently I'm flying pretty recent models. So, and then you'll pick your motor type, and you'll pick your cyclic servos. Now here you'll see that I have the BK 3001 servos, which is what I have in the heli right now, but I've ran into some problems with these. So actually I will be changing these to let's do it right now. We're going to change these to torque. I just picked up torque, so let's go down the list here. Oh, let's see. The torque servos here, unless it would be under a different name. Well, I don't see them here. So either way, we'll just set, all that does is it just helps you it presets the center frequency and so on and so forth, but we'll get to that, and we can always do that manual. Like I said, this isn't mandatory, but this will kind of help you in the setup. So then you have blade names here, tail blade, and then your ESC, which in this case is a Scorpion. I didn't select the power supply type because it's I did. I selected unlisted because I use HRB, and that's not listed here. And for the lipos, and then transmitter type Futaba. So then you click this arrow up here in the top right, and you'll go to the next page. This is page 2 is the unit orientation. In this particular case, I am top up, which is the logo of the fiberless. Take a quick look. You can see logo up, and this is the front of the heli, so wires facing front. So wires front is what here you'll see top up, wires front. If you do any of the other orientations, then you can select that. Then page 3 here, you're going to select your receiver. In my case, I selected Futaba, S-Bus 2. They're all the same here. So if you have a different one, you would select your specific receiver type. And what these do is this will help you. This sets up page 4, which is the connections. And all this does is it gives you a diagram and some description here of what to connect where. So if you haven't already done that, and you can see here, I have already connected everything. But if you haven't, this will be your guide as to where to connect, everything. Okay. So I just the most important thing here, you'll see a warning is do not connect any power source to this spot here, which is 456. Because you could damage the unit. All right, so that is page 4. Now you will get to page 5. Now, if you have already, connected your receiver like I showed a little bit earlier, then you can go ahead and do this. Page 5 here. If you haven't, what you'll want to do is you want to go back, so this arrow here, or you can just click on here the connections window. You'll want to connect your receiver to your pair your receiver to the radio, and then shut down the program, and shut down the radio, shut everything down, and then reboot up so that all of that is taken care of, and then you can come to page 5 here. Okay, so I've already done that, and what I'm going to do now is I knocked my camera, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to power up the unit. Now I do have some setup here, so always as a safety precaution, I always flip the throttle hold. But if you've done only what I've showed you so far, you won't even have that set. That's fine. You can just, for safety reasons, you can remove the blades. In this case, you can see I actually don't even have the head on because I got to level this swash plate still. And you can unplug a minimum of 2 of your leads into the motor, which will prevent any accidental spool up. Okay, if you want, you can unplug all 3. I've removed 2. You have to remove at least 2 because if there's 2 that are connected, it still could spool up, okay? That's just a safety precaution, obviously. But what we're going to do now that we're on page 5 is we're going to go ahead and power up the fiberless. And again, we're assuming that everything's already connected, that you finished page 4. So you can see that now the unit is all powered up, okay? And the reason that this is important is we are now going to, you know, we're going to work on doing travel for the transmitter in the Ikon2 software and the radio. So on the Futaba radio, what we're going to do is we're going to go to linkage menu, and then we're going to go to endpoint right here. And in the endpoints, what we're going to do is we're going to set our travel. Now, you can see on the software here, the other thing, which I've already done here is, so let's take a look here at the aileron, and you can see that when I go right aileron, it goes right, and then I go left aileron, it goes left, okay? Sorry, this is the issue I'm having with these servos, which is why they're going to replace. You can see this servo is kind of, it's bound. It's because it doesn't really respond well. I apologize for that. I don't want to have to restart the video, so sorry. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to reset this. I wanted to show a little bit more of what the issues I was having with this servo before I changed them. I don't know if I'm going to have that chance, because if this keeps happening, I'm not going to keep redoing this. But let me just reset this. Okay, that should fix it for now. Well, let me just show you real quick. What's happening here is, it's just this servo, it seems to be a bit of a faulty servo. It just twitches. You can hear it, and you can't see it right now. Let me move some of the sticks so you can see. So what happens is it starts to twitch. I know it's. So there it is. I'm not moving anything, and that servo is twitching. Like, look at that. It's doing like the little funky chicken. So obviously it's a defective servo, and I'm going to be replacing. And I knew this ahead of time when I bought this heli, that this was potentially a problem. You know, my good buddy thought it may be the servo just had an issue with his V-bar, but clearly there, see, it's just switching. I'm not even touching the radio. So even with the Ikon2, it's having an issue, and I just can't get it to work properly. So these BK servos are going to be gone, and we're going to be using those torque servos. So, okay. All right, a little sidetrack there, but let's just let's back up here. And what was I talking about? Yes. So if your inputs are not correct, now you'll see I'm moving the elevator stick. I'm moving it forward and then back. Okay. If they are moving in the wrong direction, what I do is I go in the radio here, and I go into Servo Reverse, and you can see that well, generally the throttle servo is reversed on these Futaba transmitters, so that's actually by default it's like that. In some cases it doesn't, like in my OMP M2 I actually have that as normal, but for everything else it's reverse. And the aileron though I've reversed, and the pitch I had to reverse, and since I've reversed that, you can see now that in the software everything is moving in the right direction. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure that everything in the radio is moving in the right direction. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is you want to set your endpoints. And what you're going to do okay, is you're going to, so let's look at aileron here, okay? And with the aileron, I'm going to move the stick all the way to the right, and you can see it says 100%, okay? But to get that there, I had to change the travel here on the right side, and you can see on the Futaba here, when I go right, it, you know, on the aileron, this green light shows, and then if I go left, the green light shows on the travel for the left side. So you can adjust the travel individually, but so let me just show you. If you look here on the software, you can see I have travel set at 133, the limit set to 133, but on the if I bring that back down to 100, which is the default, you can see on the software, it's saying that the travel to the right is 71%. That's what we want to resolve. And obviously I've already resolved it here. I'm going to do it now back again. Go back up to 133, sorry, and that puts it back up at 100%. Okay, and you're going to want to do that for right aileron, left aileron, and then you're going to want to do that for forward elevator and back elevator. You're going to want to do that for the tail, and then you're going to want to do that also for the pitch. Okay, make sure the pitch goes to 100%. Actually, it's showing 101 there. I can adjust that, but and then down. Hold on, let me adjust that right now. So adjust that. Oh, sorry, hold on. Negative pitch. All right. So there, it's now 100%, and then on the top side, we'll adjust that, and there we go. So that now is 100% travel in either direction. Okay. Now you do not see the throttle stick moving when I move the throttle because my throttle hold is on. But let me just double check. Well, since I don't have the motor connected, so I'll throw the throttle hold off, and you can see that in the down position it's 0, and then now it's moving all the way. In the full position here, it is now showing 100%. Okay. What else can I do here? Sorry. So I didn't want to jump back and forth, but I do want to make note here of you can also on this page set up your banks. These are your banks over here, and you can also set up your rescue or bailout. By what you do here on the radio is you would go to function, okay, and then on the function page, this is all these settings here on the function page are default on the first page. Then you go to the second page. I've changed some of these up, and so auxiliary 2 I've assigned to channel 7, and I've assigned auxiliary 1 to channel 8. Okay, now auxiliary 2 is, and I don't know if that's any different on other radios, but I can tell you that auxiliary 2 is my banks, and I've assigned that to this switch here, which is, it's a 3-position switch because there's 3 banks for SD here. Sorry, let me just, for SD, okay, and then I assigned auxiliary 1. So the way you do that is you just click there, you'll get this menu here, and then I've selected SF, which is this top switch over here, and that is my rescue, my bailout. So now we'll look at the screen, and because we've set those, we've assigned those, you can now look at setup 1. You can see current setup 1. When I flick the SD, it changes to setup 2 and setup 3. Okay, and then here you can see you'll see the rescue stuff, which is over here. When I flick SF, it jumps because that's what the rescue does. Okay, sorry, this servo. Ow! Sorry, super hot. Let me just unplug that again. Jeez. Servo was binding there. I wasn't even paying attention, and it got super hot. Anyways, that servo is, you know, it's not working. It's totally fried, and I should just disconnect that, you know, and so that it doesn't keep doing that. Sorry, because I don't want this to be an issue throughout this entire video. Sorry, let me just. Oh man, these servos get all now super hot because I wasn't even paying attention. All right, apologies. So you can see, like I said earlier, I was not entirely prepared for this. Okay, now that I have detached the servo arm, now we can put these back, and we should be fine. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I've shown you everything on this page. I hope I explained that properly. The only other thing, oh, sorry, we'll finish this page and this section off by saying that, okay, so on the function menu, okay, I have gyro set up. This is default. I don't have this assigned to switch, okay? But because, you know, I have this to gyro, you'll notice over here on the screen here, you'll see tail gain, okay? I don't know what it'll say for you. I think it's actually red over here, and I think it's usually 5%, or it was for me anyways when I as a default. And on the Futaba, the way to correct that is you will go to the helicopter menu here, and then you will go to the gyro menu, and in gyro you're going to want to go to gyro rudder, okay? And you're going to want to set up these rates. And to set these rates up, first things first, if you want them to be similar for all banks, you can set them, you know, you press this and it'll make it so you can see that it changes from, I don't even know what this is, a Snell, to, you know, group. This GR, I think, stands for group. And that way you can see that all these settings, regardless of which bank I have, so you can see idle up normal, idle up 1, idle up 2, they're all the same now. Oh, I'm sorry. I have my gyro set up actually to a 3-way switch. I have it set up to this SC switch. And the reason for that is I can change the gyro gain anytime that I want. So what you'll see here is on the first one, I have AVCS is head and hold, and you'll see it says the setting in the radio, it says 49, but if you see on the computer screen or the software, it says 45%. There's a bit of there's a disconnect there, but that's what it is. And then when I flick the switch, you'll see that it changes now to 50, and then now rate 2 is on, and it's 54%. 54. The setting here is 54. Then if I flick the switch to the third position, which is this, it says on, and it's 60 here, but in the software it says 55%. So there's 5% different for each. I don't know what I'm ultimately going to settle on for that, but that's what I'm going to use when I'm kind of dialing in the tail. For now, I just want to set those. And how you set those up in the radio is, so I'll flick the switch over. So here in rate 1, you'll see this, I think GY stands for gyro. Then you'll press this, and you will select which switch to set it to. Like I said, I selected SC, and when you do that, you'll go to set, and then you got to set the on position. So for rate 1, it's on when the position is in the first position. If I move it to the second position, it's off and off, because I want those for the other rates. So once I've done that, I'll go here, and this will be inhibited by default, so you'll press that, it should be off. So normally it'll be inhibited, but when you click it, if it's not on a switch and it's not on, it'll be off, and then you'll click on this again, set the SC on position like it is in the second position, and then do the same for the third. Okay, and then what you'll do here for the rate, again, you can change this is head and hold or normal, but I want head and hold. Okay, and then you will set your gyro gains in here, and it will change directly on the software. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for that. And if you do all of that, set it how you like, then everything on page 5 for now is all done and you're all set. Okay, so this video has run much longer than I wanted already, so I'm going to end this video here and continue on to page 6 in the next one.